Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a quick but delicious lazy Mexican rice. First, you're going to put a little bit of oil to your pan and your rice, and we're going to get it nice and golden. I stand here and I mix to make sure it doesn't burn. Tomato sauce, yes, I know, but we don't have time to make homemade right now. Just a little bit, enough to stain your rice. If you put too much, your rice is going to get mushy. Add 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. A little bit of nor. About a tablespoon, and fuck it, we're gonna put 2. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to cover it, reduce the heat, and do not open it for the next 20 minutes. Let's check up on our rice. Whoa, I'm just gonna fluff it up with the fork, and there you have it, guys, rice. And this is what the rice looks like, guys. Excuse this pot in the back, that shit doesn't come off. Lazy Mexican rice. Bye.
Para hacer mi salsita de chile de tortuguita, primero estoy dorando los ajitos. Y ya que están bien doraditos, a sacarlos. Ahora estoy asando mis chilitos en el aceite. Nomás que no se quemen, que estén doraditos. Eché mis ajos a mi licuadora y ya voy a sacar los chiles para licuarlos. Y ahora le vamos a echar el aceite para licuarlo. Y también le vamos a poner su salecita. Y ahora lo vamos a licuar. Pues ya está lista mi salsa, depende de ustedes cómo le guste. Ya si lo quieren más espeso, le ponen más chilito. A mí así me gusta. Y ahora aquí se va a quedar y traten de que sea un pomo de vidrio. Pues aquí ya quedó mi salsita. Nomás les recomiendo que cuando vayan al baño, por favor llévense un bolis porque les va a dar hasta...
Let me show you guys how I made my carne borracha, or drunken meat for my tacos. Usually you make this in a disc outside, but I don't have a disc, so I'm using my wok. First, I'm going to render half a pack of bacon. When that is done, we're going to add half a tube of chorizo. Cook that for a bit, then you're going to add some ham steak and weenies. I'm also adding onion, garlic, and peppers. We're going to saute all of this for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to incorporate our beef. This is regular carne asada meat, just cubed up in little pieces. And don't season it up, guys, because the bacon, the chorizo, and everything is going to make everything super salty. At the end, I'm going to add 1 tomato and just a little bit of nor suiza, because I can never cook without that. And here's where the borracha comes in. We're going to add 1 can of beer, but first I gotta make sure it's good for consumption, and it was. We're gonna add a whole can of beer and let it cook in the beer for about 20 minutes until your meat is tender. Warm up some tortillas and serve. I'm serving my tacos with rice and beans, and that's it, guys. Hope you like my recipe. Bye. Packing lunch for my husband. Tomorrow my husband's gonna take a steamed white rice with a bourbon chicken. This was my first time making this chicken, and it was actually quite good. I'm just gonna sprinkle it with a little bit of cilantro just to give it a little bit of life. I'm gonna put it in his bento, and then for his fruit, he's gonna take the last of that watermelon. And I'm actually sharing some of my tajin today because it looked like he was eating it. I might just be adding too much. Don't worry, guys, I washed my hands. The name just doesn't come off. Good eyeliner. I didn't have granola, but I did have strawberries, so he's taking strawberries and yogurt to work in this cute little container. Don't mind my son in the background, he's making vacuum noises. I'm putting everything in his lunch pail with a couple more snackies and 2 of those sunflower seed packets because apparently they're smacking. His fork and his spoon. I'm also going to make him his cafecito, and I'm sharing my creamer because I was too lazy to get his out. And here is Bento chewing on his cuddle bone for some extra calcium. And that's it. A muffin here for the morning. Bye! Let me show you guys how I made my bourbon chicken. Some of y'all might have heard bourbon and thought I was flamethrowing in the kitchen, but actually I did a lot of cheating. I just cut up some chicken breast and I seasoned it up with a little bit of chicken seasoning and added some flour for a crispy coating. Now I'm going to crisp my chicken up in a hot wok with a little bit of oil in sections so it doesn't get all clumpy. Once my chicken came out nice and golden crispy, this is where the bourbon comes in. I just went to the store and bought a bourbon chicken packet. Sometimes I just need to get my dinners on the table quick and do a whole lot of cheating like today. I let this simmer for about 5 minutes and it's ready. Now I just made a steamed rice and served my chicken. Right here, you can either garnish it with some green onions or a little bit of cilantro like I did. And that's it, guys. Here you have it. Bourbon chicken. Dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes. Hope you like my recipe. Bye! Making dinner for my husband. Today we'll try to replicate the McChicken. First of all, McDonald's scared the shit out of me with whatever the hell that was on the wrapper. Okay, McDonald's, I see you. Big ass chicken nugget, lettuce, and mayo. Let's do this. In a food processor, we're going to blend our meats to make a big ass chicken nugget. With our wet hands, we're going to form a patty like this. Now we will need some flour, cornstarch, and seasoning because we're going to make a coating for a chicken nugget. We're going to put it on a sheet lined with parchment paper, and now we're going to make our batter. We're going to need water, eggs, seasoning, flour, and cornstarch, and we're going to dip our chicken nugget, put it back on the sheet tray, and freeze for an hour. Then we're going to fry it for 8 minutes or until it's nice and golden like this. Now I will try to replicate the McChicken sauce also. I'm going to butter up my buns and add the sauce on both buns, not just one, both. Put our big ass chicken nugget, add some lettuce, close our sandwich. There you have it. That is my McChicken. Now let's do the comparison. Split open. Let me show you guys how I made my Costitas de Porco con salsita and nopales. First things first, I'm going to go to my backyard and cut a little bit of nopales. If you're Mexican, you probably have one of these in your backyard or in your front yard. I'm going to clean them up and then cut them up into little squares. Put them in a pot to boil for about 15 minutes with a little bit of baking soda. Now let's cut up our meat. These are pork ribs or costitas de puerco. I'm going to fry them a little bit in a little bit of oil and season them. What I'm trying to do here is let the fat render and let the meat get nice and crispy like this. It took about 20 minutes on low heat with the cap on. Now for the salsa, we're going to need some tomatillos, jalapenos, chile de árbol, and everything else I'm going to list on the screen. Blend your salsa, remove a little bit of that render fat from your pork, and then add your salsita. Add about a cup or two of water, your nopalitos, and let that simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes until your ribs are nice and tender. Now just serve with some rice and beans, but my husband doesn't like beans, so I just served it with a little bit of rice. And there you have it, guys. Hope you guys like my recipe. Bye! Packing lunch for my husband. Tomorrow my husband's gonna take a simple lunch. He's taking a torta with beans, eggs, and chorizo. I didn't have any more of that melty cheese, but I did have cotija, and I'm almost sure the cotija is gonna make the torta taste way better. I also added some chiles en vinagre or chile jalapeno with some avocados. I wrapped it in parchment paper and then put it in his bento. I didn't think it was gonna fit at first, but it actually fit perfect. Now, my son has been making esquites lately because he's selling them, and this was leftover, so he's taking that to work. He's also getting some heart-shaped strawberries just because I'm corny, and a cute little note to let him know how much I love him. I know I write like a first grader, but it's all good. He's not even tripping. I'm gonna pack everything in his lunch pot with a banana and a granola bar, his fork and a spoon. Now, this time he asked for a tea instead of a coffee because he claims the coffee's giving him anxiety. As for Franklin and Bento, I tried feeding them a roast for the first time, but Franklin came and stomped all over it, so I'm only assuming he's not the romantic type. And that's it, and a piece of bread for the morning. Bye! Making lunch for my kids. Today my son asked me for orange chicken and I said, say less, kid. So that's what we're making. We're going to start off by splitting our breast in half and cutting into bite-sized pieces. Then we're going to season and add 2 to 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. We're going to mix the chicken and the cornstarch until your chicken is fully coated. I prefer using cornstarch than flour because it makes your chicken extra crispy. And now we're going to fry in batches. When you're done frying all your chicken, you can remove the oil from your wok. The wok, guys, you heard correctly, not the wop. Then you add the chicken into the wok and pour your Panda Express sauce. Mix it all in until it gets to a nice little simmer like this, and you guys can plate. Now, if you guys want to make them feel like Mr. SpongeBob Fancy Pants, then you can add the sesame seeds and some green onion. And that's it, guys.